5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Midnight tonight, Eastern time. You know all that. Okay, I'm sorry if I screwed up on the theme songs and stuff like that, but I didn't start recording. I've got to start the whole show over again. Okay, do you mind? Okay, so what we do is we go to that. Okay, and then I go to then I'm going to start recording here, and just hold on, folks.
Still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Time's a charm, right? Third time. I don't know. You know, I always have to have a clean recording when we start recording, and I didn't have a clean recording, so that was the problem that we had here. Hold on a second. I got to get rid of my earlier recordings here. Let me see here. There's a little work I have to do here to clean things up. Okay. All right. We seem to be okay now. All right. Okay. Anyway, hello, how are you? What's happening? Oh, my back is killing me. Oh, my I gotta tell you, I just let me explain to you. Today, I finally got that thing that I was trying to lay my hands on, which was this graphics board for my old Mac Pro. So I, of course, get it, and I go and install it. And everything that I've read online is that it's a real easy install. You just do this thing, and it's good to go. And not with me. Okay, so I removed my old graphics board. I put in the new graphics board. I start it up, and there's nothing. Now, I know I'm not supposed to get a picture on the screen from the Apple warm-up or whatever, because that's a given. But this thing, I let it go for 10 minutes and it wasn't booting up. There weren't pictures coming on the screen. There wasn't any sign that the graphics board was working. Now, I don't think the graphics board is bad. I don't think that's the problem. I think that's a problem with the way in which I've installed it or something. So anyway, I pulled it out and I put back in the old graphics board, and now it wouldn't work. So I did one thing after another. I finally seated the board right, and I got the computer back up and running again. I thought I had completely ruined the computer forever, but I didn't. So in the next couple of days, I will do what I can to try and install that other card. Maybe I need some different wiring than I have in there and so on. But in the meantime, I got to tell you, when they made these Mac Pros, is what they were, these things are about 40 pounds a piece. I have two of them. And so whenever you want to work on them, what I do is I lift it up and put it on the bed, and then I do the work there because I've got a fairly good surface to work on. And then when I was trying to remove the old boards and put in the new boards and do all that, I was on the floor, and my torn meniscus went out, but it's doing fine now. It didn't have any permanent damage. But I'm lifting something and leaning over and pulling this up and doing that and grabbing something else. And I know tomorrow I'm going to hurt. I mean, every bone of my body is going to hurt. But every bone of my body now is hurting. When I try to stand up, if I try to stand up now, well, it's a little better than it was. Oh boy. Yeah, so anyway, I have a $200 graphics card that's not working. So And they say, oh, it's very easy. All you do is just put the thing in. To begin with, to get this thing seated just right is very, very difficult. It's not easy. And it's hard to see whether it's seated correctly in the PCI slot, the slot that it goes into. So, it's a pain in the ass. But anyway, that's that. I have no guest tonight, so I'm sitting here just, talking to you about stuff. I got. I'll show you. I'll show you something. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Let me see if I can bring it up. So we do most of the time we do everything here for people on television, on the video now. But wait a minute. Let me see here. Go to legal. There we go, and we go to. Here we go. Let me see here. Oh. Any happy new year? Okay, wait a minute. Oh, that's not it. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to find it. There we go. There's my, okay. So what we did was we had a thing that is what do you call it? We did a deposition. And it's important with this deposition that we get, let me see here, that we get the information that we need, the depositions that we took, because, what happens is you go into court, we're going into court, and what you need to do is you want to have know what was in the deposition. Now, I did these depositions, 4 years ago, is it? Let me see here. I'm trying to, where is it? I'm trying to find where, oh, I see. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to find a way that I can show you the document because I want to show you just, this is not a big case that we're going through. Let's see. What is that? What's the program called? Adobe Acrobat. Let's see, Acrobat Pro. Let me see. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I can show it to you. Okay. There it is. There is the deposition. Now, the reason why we had to get this deposition and be able to read this deposition again is because we want to remind ourselves what we said in the deposition. Now, in case people are just tuning in for the first time, we've been going through a court case for the last 6 years, I think it's been, maybe longer. It certainly seems longer. And about 3 years ago, we had to do a deposition in this thing, and it was about this apartment and us being in it and what we are, whether we can, whether we have the rights to. It's a whole thing where the guy literally rented us apartment when he didn't have the right to rent it. He could sublet it, but he couldn't rent it, but he rented it to us. And then he's suing the landlord, and the landlord's suing him, and he's suing us. And it's a complete mess that we never asked for. We never had anything to do with this, right? So it goes on and on and on and on. I could explain all the nuances, like in New York State, there's a thing called rent stabilization, and if you then sublet an apartment, you can only do it for 2 years, and you can't charge more than you're paying for it, and the guy rented it to us for 3 years and charged us double, and so it's a major case of that sort. It's not a major case in the annals of law. They're not going to teach this in any law school. But so we give a deposition, and that was 3 years ago. And so we got to read the deposition so we can remember what we said. This thing takes, if all this stuff took place within a year, that would be fine. I go, oh yeah, I remember when I said that, and then I said this, I said that. But I go back now, I have to read the deposition all over again. And it's almost as boring as doing the deposition, okay? So here is, if you're watching us on the intranet, there is the deposition. that I gave on July 27th, 2016. That's how many years ago now, folks? Count them, over 3, since we did the deposition, right? And it goes on. Okay, so how many pages do you think this thing is? Oh, man, oh, man. Where did you live? How long did you live there before you came here? How did you know the guy that you were renting it from? Blah, 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 blah. And this is all pretty much the testimony that I gave to one of the lawyers, which was the so-called landlords, not the landlord of the building, but the guy who claimed to be a landlord who rented us the apartment, okay? And it's his lawyer asking me all these questions. Now, it's just him. There's 3 sets of lawyers. There's this lawyer, then there's the lawyer for the landlords, and then there's our lawyer. This is my deposition just to that lawyer, okay? His lawyer, who really, quite frankly, I thought asked some pretty stupid questions. I mean, stuff that didn't make sense. Look how many pages this is. We're up to 23 already. Don't worry, folks, it keeps going. Look at that. This is all from one lawyer asking me questions, And, if they ask me this stuff tomorrow, I might veer from what I said then only because my memory is changing. You got to realize all the events in this situation took place over 6 years ago. And here, 3 years, I'm trying to recall what happens. But anyway, we're up to page 36 already. Here we go, 38, 39. It's on and on. Page 40, 41, 42. And we didn't do anything wrong. We just rented a goddamn apartment because we thought a guy could rent this apartment. Here we go, even more. 44 pages, 45 pages, 46 pages, 47 pages, 48 pages, 49 pages. Mr. Spikes, I have nothing further. I don't have anything, says Mr. Rosenfeld. That is testimony, I think, to just one lawyer. May have been the landlord's lawyers too, but I don't think so. Oh yeah, the lawyer for what, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. She's listed in here, but she may have just said something as an aside to go on the record. But anyway, look at that. To begin with, just think about all the paper that it takes to do that. Okay. But that's my deposition. And it's not a cheap deal. Nobody is cheap about this thing. Everybody, the lawyers are the ones making the money. Think about this, okay? We're going to go to court. There's going to be a trial. It's going to last maybe 3 days. He said, set it up for 3 days. We don't know if it'll last 3 days, but, set it up for 3 days. Okay. So we set up for 3 days. The 3 days, 3 sets of lawyers, people, the court, stenographer, all of that, all these people getting paid, making a fucking fortune. Meanwhile, we are caught in the middle of something that we had nothing to do with. All we did is we rented an apartment, we liked what we saw, and we decided that we wanted to, be renters of the apartment, and we were. And all we wanted was a nice place to live, and we paid our rent very nicely every month for almost 3 years, about 2.5 years actually. We didn't do anything wrong. We did nothing wrong, and yet our penalty is that we have to pay through the nose for lawyers. If we want to come out and prevail in this situation, which I think we will, we have to keep spending that money. It's kind of like we can't say, this is going to be awfully expensive. Let's stop now, because we've already put like $50,000 into this deal. Now, hopefully, if we are found not guilty of anything, we could get those legal fees taken care of. But it's just that we did nothing. We created no situation that was illegal. Okay, and the only thing that was illegal was that he's suing us, I think, because we didn't pay him rent for 4 months. I mean, I don't know what he's suing us for. See, his big mistake was suing us because that meant we would go out and lawyer up, and it would make it more difficult for him. Because now he can't stop because at some point he could say, I give up. I don't want to go after these landlords anymore. But now he realizes that he's going to have to pay some money to us, and so he has to keep going. And it's like, and I'm going, and this is such a pissant case. This is not great legal jurisprudence, as it were. This is just your average bitchy, I don't like you, you don't like me, you did me wrong, I hate my landlord, the landlord hates you. We're caught in the middle. We didn't do anything except just rent an apartment. And then when we were asked to leave, we refused to leave, saying that, that he had no right to throw us out, that we had the right of the reasonable expectation of rent renewal, which if you rent an apartment, you know what I'm talking about. You expect that if you've been paying your rent for, every month, and you've been ponying up with the money, that that's the whole deal. So anyway, you expect that you're going to get renewed, and at a certain point, because he was being hassled by the apartment building, it was kind of like, what was it? The cat chases the mouse does something else that brings on the dog, that does this, that does. It's kind of like a cartoon, Tex Avery cartoon, in which the landlord who owns the building wrote to the guy who rented the apartment to us, but was renting the apartment technically, and said we were living here illegally. This was after about more than 2.5 years that they did this. And all of a sudden he said, well, I'm fine, I'm lawyered up, I can handle this. And apparently he couldn't, because one thing led to another, and finally he said, I'm going to have to ask you to leave when your lease is up in August. And I said, basically I said, well, we're not going. And he said, well, I guess I got to get a lawyer, huh? And I said, yes, you do. And we went and got a lawyer. And but that's how it happened. And it was because the landlord made a move against him, so he made a move against us, so we then went and got a lawyer against him, and then he went and pursued his case against the landlord, and the landlord, to protect himself, is pursuing a case against him. The landlord's not suing us. We're the defendants. So's the landlord. If in the beginning the landlord hadn't done anything, then we probably might not even be here any longer, because when I lost my job at Sirius, this rent's would be a bit on the high side. But anyway, the landlord who has not been. I have to give the landlord real props in this respect, that they could have made things hard for us while we're here, because we haven't been paying rent, because who do we pay rent to? We didn't sign a lease with anybody, except that guy that we signed the lease with originally, and it wasn't the landlord. But the landlord has not denied us services. In other words, if I call the super about something, he's up here, he fixes it. So they, in that respect, have been okay. On the other hand, I don't know why this other guy, the guy who rented us the apartment, is pursuing it like this, except he knows that we've got a case against him now, because he put us in a position where we had to countersue him. It's a mess. And it all boils down to something like that. Okay, very expensive piece of paper. There's another piece of paper that my lawyer wrote, and our lawyer wrote that was it's a bill. I can't remember what they call it. They call it a I don't know. Anyway, it he makes his case in print, and it's about 25, 30 pages long, and it's good. I mean, I read it and I was cheering as I read it. So we had to do that. That alone, that piece of paper cost us $12,000. All right. We better get our legal fees back, and because they're deciding to go to court on this deal, that's one of the things we could be entitled to now. If we settled out of court, we'd have to see if we could get that in a settlement, but it wouldn't be ruled upon. In this case, it's being ruled, it would be ruled upon. And, you know, I think we're going to come out okay. I don't think we were in any kind of real trouble. In fact, I think we're going to come out to the good, okay, with a very reasonable rent and so on. So we'll have to see. But that's what goes. I want to just read a email, not an email. What we have, you know, we have our stuff on YouTube, and at YouTube, you can write something you think, you know, or some thought you have. And last night we were talking about me not getting my package from Amazon. Oh, my microphone's, oh, look at it. So you can actually see the microphone. Normally you can't see the microphone. Anyway, we were talking about what could I do to get even with Amazon, and he writes, Alex needs a remote-controlled Mavic quadcopter with a customized undercarriage fitted with 4 hand grenades. He can then fly his drone to Secaucus warehouse and retrieve his packages and make valid threats of releasing grenades, if needed, to get the job done. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's from Ryan Crossman. Thank you, Ryan. I thought that was funny. That kind of helped make my day. Oh, my back. Oh. The meniscus went out today, too, when I was on the floor. But I have to say about the meniscus, it stopped hurting pretty fast. So I think it's just a minor meniscus, not a major meniscus. Anyway, major meniscus, he was in the Civil War, wasn't he? Let me see here. What do I want to do? I want to go get Skype up here, okay? I don't usually put Skype up because if I open up Skype beforehand, somebody might try to call it, even though it says invisible. Because if you ever, you know, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Let me turn it on and say it's active. And, you know, we'll have a little talk tonight. Okay? If anybody wants to call, you know. So we're gonna figure this thing out as soon as somebody calls. Oh, I got this, by the way. This is for my feet. Thanks to Jeff, because Jeff showed this to me the other night, and I got one, and now I'm fine. Let's see here. Charlie Wallace is calling.
Let's see here. Charlie Wallace.
Okay, Charlie, there you are. Let me. There we got you in the picture anyway, so it doesn't matter. There we go. Oh, there he is, folks. There's Charlie Wallace. Charlie's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona. Hold on a second. I'm drinking some root beer tonight.
It's fall now, so it only got up to 108 today.
Oh. Anyway, so I got one of the things that Jeff had.
Yeah.
So I just keep it down here, and then I roll my foot on it, and it's better than the golf ball because it doesn't get away from me. You know, it kind of just rolls beneath my feet. But anyway, so how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
keeping
doing all right for an old man.
Yeah, for an old man. How old are you?
69.
You're 69. God, you're looking good. You know, you're fine. Let me see.
Clean living.
There we go. There we go. I just brought Jeff on. Let me see here. Is Jeff? Let's see here. I've got to get Jeff into a spot here. We'll put him in the number. Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. We'll put him in the number 1 spot. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Steinzeller, and in the second spot, Jason is calling tonight.
Oh.
So I will put him in the second spot. Let me see here. Now I gotta cancel. Do this again. If I try to do this before the picture actually comes up, I have a problem because the name doesn't appear. But now the name will appear, and it's
3 a.m.
3 a.m. That's it. Yep. There we go. And boom. There we go. There's Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
This must be the second Friday, right? You know, every other Friday.
Last Friday was supposed to be my Friday. I'd come on, but you weren't on.
Oh, I wasn't on. What?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Labor Day.
We took the 2 days off. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I deserve the time off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why I do this, but I deserve the time off. Where's Phil? That's amazing. Well, that's amazing. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Mark. Oh, wow. A lot of people we don't normally hear from. Let me see here. Let me get Mark. Let me see here. Mark Shark. Marco Sharko or whatever it is. Okay, and yeah, there we go. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Evening, everyone.
How's hurricanes?
What hurricane?
Well, you're down in Florida.
Yeah, except I'm on the other end this time, on the other part of the state, so.
Oh, I see. Well, didn't you know they had a big storm? The hurricane hit Alabama. Didn't you hear about that?
I know. I heard. Yeah.
It was funny to hear Al Roker talk about how this is actually going to be in the next couple of days a snowmaker for Greenland. So it's a tropical storm turning into a hurricane, riding the coast of America, turning into a blizzard for Greenland.
Oh, okay. Does that mean that we're going to get more ice up there finally?
Hopefully.
Because they're losing ice like crazy. Al Roker's grown a beard. Have you noticed that?
What?
Yeah, he's grown a beard.
Okay.
And then he's wearing blue glasses now.
It's become hip.
I don't know. I think he's having some kind of like old life crisis or something. You know.
Yeah.
But I just found out that Charlie's 69 years old. Fuck you, Charlie. Jesus Christ.
Hey, Charlie, I'm like 30 years younger than you.
Yeah, I know. Rub it in.
Yeah, and Charlie's going to look better 5 days dead than you do right now, Jason.
I don't have no gray
Huh?
because it hasn't grown out yet.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Say I grow my facial hair out, I'm all gray.
Yeah.
I look like Jeff.
Yeah. So you did. So you didn't have any storm down there at all, then, Mark, right?
No, we just had a bunch of rain. That's it.
That was it.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I keep praying that, you know, when the hurricane hits it, that entire fucking state goes underwater. But, you know, that's just me. That's just me. I hate Florida. I just have, you know, Florida hates me. So, you know, it's equal. You know. But what have you been doing, Mark?
Just work. That's it.
Yeah. What are you doing these days for just work? For
Rather not say right now. Maybe off.
Oh.
Ooh, secret.
No, it's just that I don't want to give my employer any more publicity than they already have.
Oh, I see. Okay. Do they sell guns?
No.
Oh no. Okay. All right. I thought it might
They
be.
buy guns.
Just ammunition.
No.
No, nothing like that, guys.
So
whatsoever.
it's not that company.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that about Walmart, that they to begin with, they don't think about not selling guns or ammunition until somebody comes in and shoots up one of their stores, And then secondly, once that happens, they say, well, we're just not going to sell ammunition anymore. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
Well, I
that'll
think they actually restricted the guns that they'll sell to just hunting rifles.
really? I thought they were going to still sell handguns too. No?
No, I thought that the only state that they still sell handguns in is Alaska, and a lot of that is for bear protection.
Yes.
And I thought they said that they're actually going to stop selling handguns in Alaska too.
Well, I mean, we were talking about this last night, I think, or maybe 2 nights ago. Oh, excuse me. And we were talking about protection against varmints, and the 4-legged kind, not the 2-legged kind. And that is a valid concern. You live out in the woods, maybe you need a gun of some sort because, a black bear could come marauding, and they're very dangerous animals. Okay, so I understand that. That's valid, but it's not valid to have a whole arsenal in an apartment in New York City. Or as the person who's about to come on here does in Contra Costa County. I see no reason in Contra Costa County that you need to have, hold on a second, you need to have guns. Hold on a second, I'm just trying to put your picture up here.
But see, and I would even say I'm a lefty, and I'm for gun control, but I think there's a lot of guns people are going to want to have, and it's so much of a fight. Why even bother with it? But go back to the Brady bill. Just make it a 10-round clip. Or magazine, whatever you want to call it. If you need more than that, you don't need the weapon. If you need more than 10 rounds to defend yourself from a bear, you don't need it. If you need more than 10 rounds to defend yourself from somebody breaking into your house, threatening your family, you don't need the weapon.
Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm having trouble getting Phil on. Are you there, Phil?
He might have been frozen.
We lost his picture, yeah.
Phil, are you there? No? Maybe I should call him. Everybody else seems to be okay. Well,
I bet he was having some internet
Phil's online, however. Yeah. Remove from call. Okay, I'll remove him from the call. All right. Then what I'll do is I will call him back. Let me see here. I don't even know how to do this. I forgot how to do this because I haven't had to do it that often. Oh, here we go. Phil Meyer. Let me call him and see what the problem is. Okay. Add. Okay. Here I'm calling Phil. Let's see if he comes to fruition here. Phil, are you picking up? Oh.
Yes, he doesn't. I just be patient. He'll call back. Maybe he has to restart his modem.
It may have to restart the whole machine. You never know.
Yeah, it happened to me last week.
Yeah. Well, he has a trash can like I do, so they boot up real fast.
Yeah, but if he has to redo his modem, that might take a minute.
Well, who knows what his problem is
Hey,
tonight.
how you doing?
Oh, here we go. Wait a minute, there's Phil again.
This is the phone.
Phil, are you there?
Yeah, it's the phone. I don't know what's wrong. Let me hang up and.
Did you restart your modem?
Yeah, I think so. All right, thanks.
Oh boy! You know what I found out about doing the citizen panel concept? It's a great concept, but if you have technical problems, you don't have one technical problem. You have like 6 technical problems.
Yeah.
Hey, so Alex, I wanted to mention something. You mentioned something about the other day how your Wi-Fi extender configuration in your house.
Mm-hmm.
They have they're smart Wi-Fi extenders.
Yeah.
So normally, like if you have Wi-Fi extenders in like your apartment, if you're on one end, you have to go in and connect to either the modem or a Wi-Fi extender.
Mm-hmm.
Say you got your tablet, you walk across your apartment, you go to the other end, you got to manually go in and reconnect to another one because your device wants to connect to the one you're connected to. But they have these new ones that they're smart Wi-Fi extenders. They work like cell towers.
Mhm.
So you'll jump from one to the other one automatically.
Yeah, I know about
And
that.
they actually communicate between each other too.
Yep.
So they almost like a hardwire. If you line them up right, you can have a good
Yeah,
network, wireless network through your whole apartment.
The only problem with that, for me, at least here, is that the extender is only going to be as good as the signal it's getting from the main
Correct.
machine.
That's why you got to
And-
make a chain.
Right. But then if you make a chain, still that other chain is going to have to get a signal from that other place. And you're weakening your signal all the way along the line. What I did here is I actually hardwired into the bedroom. Okay? And then once I hardwired into the bedroom, I hardwired into the bedroom, and once I hardwired into the bedroom, I then put a really heavy Wi-Fi unit in there, and it takes care of the rest of the house with a pretty strong signal. Because I have a very difficult situation here. These walls are like pure concrete. This is
plaster.
This is whatever Wi-Fi there is in this room would be considerably weaker in the bedroom. And so if that's where I had my extender, which I did at one time, it would be weak. Now I have pretty strong signal all over the house. I can watch my videos off of my RAID machine and so on the unit through Wi-Fi in the living room. So I'm happy with the way I got, but I understand what those are, and you buy about 4 of them or something, and you place them around the house.
Yeah. So like I said, it's just the technology behind them is cool compared to what they used to be.
Oh yeah, and more expensive.
$50 a piece.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a house like this would cost me about $200 to $300. Yeah, And my feeling is, if you're selling me the service like FiOS is, then for crying out loud, do me a favor. Give me that gratis, because you're giving me the FiOS and you're putting your machine in one place, and that should serve a whole house. But no, they want to charge you extra for that. They want to charge you extra for everything. So,
Well, that's business.
Phil, are you there? Phil's frozen.
Frozen Phil.
Huh?
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
Yep, it's frozen.
Boy, Phil's having some problems tonight. Could be his ISP is not doing him well. My favorite root beer, by the way, Diet Stewart's. Great root beer.
There's one that starts with an H.
Hires?
Pretty good.
Hires?
It might be, but it's like a natural diet root beer. I think.
Really? Oh, no. They had, for years they had Hires. And Hires, I remember their slogan, Hires to you. Remember that?
Sounds
Mark
familiar.
remembers it. Huh?
It sounds familiar.
And then let's see. Then that was replaced in California by Mug Old Fashioned Root Beer.
Oh yeah, Mug. That's a good one.
Mug, and I don't know if they still make Mug.
Yep.
But
Yeah, still got it in Arizona.
the one you might be thinking of, there was a fruit stand up in Sonoma County, and the fruit stand was Hanson's, and they had huh?
It might be Hanson's. Does Hanson's have like different diet pops or something they deal with Trader Joe's?
It might be. But they had a slogan on the front of there. It was like a stand where they sold apple juice and ciders and things like that. And the slogan read, "Hanson's good old-fashioned apple juice will make you happy and keep you loose."
Oh yeah, apples.
Sounds like that's fermentable.
Yeah, but they weren't root beers and things like that. But they might be root beer now, for all I know. But it's Hanson. So anyway, we have Phil frozen Phil. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of him. I don't know what his problem is tonight, but all I'm saying is that when you do citizen panels, you're always dealing with technical problems, and they're not your own, you know. So, oh, my back is killing me. Lifting all
Did
that
you
stuff
go
here.
outside today?
Huh?
Did you go outside?
No. I was lifting and trying to get something working, and it was not working well. And I bought a new thing that I wanted to put into a computer, and then I put it in, and then it didn't work. And so then I removed it and put back the graphics card that was in there, and that didn't work.
I thought you were talking about your penis. Something keep on not working.
And it was one thing after another, and finally I got it working again, but I never got the new board that I spent $200 on working. So, fuck it, you know. It's not fun, but anyway. And I'm tired from that. But it was when you're because you get on the floor and then you get up and then you get on the floor again to fix it and you're getting up again and then you're lifting it up and putting it on the bed and then you're moving it somewhere else, and by the time you're through, you're exhausted. You know. I know, young punk. Go ahead, have a good laugh. Pops has a problem, okay?
Still, again, I think like the way you keep on talking. Are you talking about your penis?
No.
I get it up, put it down. It's not working.
Yeah,
Get it up, put it down. It's not working.
It's not worth much anymore, you know. When I was younger. We used to hang at this place called Max's Kansas City. And I walked in one night, and there was these couple of women I knew who were sitting at a table, and they had this old man with them, and he was like 75 years old. Now, I think of that as old back then.
He's younger.
And so we all get to talking, and finally I said to him, I said, listen, I want to ask you a question. I said, what's the worst thing about being 75? And he said that nobody thinks you get horny anymore. And that just absolutely made me feel horrible, because I knew that someday I would be in a position where...
You'd be on that,
Huh?
you'd be on that list.
Yeah, I'd be on that list, you know, where nobody cares if I'm horny, you know. And this guy was so lucky, because these women were just, they were fawning all over him and taking care of him and were really good about it. And,
Speaking of impotency.
Speaking of penises that don't work, here's Phil Meyer.
Hey.
Phil, what was your problem tonight?
Don't know. I took Jason's advice and I rebooted the modem and the other thing. But what was happening was I'd get on, it would cut out, and it said my signal's too weak. So I ran a speed test, and it said I was like 160 and 35. So,
That's pretty weak.
160?
For 160? Yeah. I'm used to 725. So.
I'm dealing with like 45 and probably 2.
Yeah. I mean, you got to admit it, that in all the time... Now watch, I'm saying it and then something's going to happen. But in all the time that I've been doing this show since I got FiOS, I've never had a lick of problems with my bandwidth,
It's everything else.
Everybody else has the bandwidth problems.
Yeah, I moved the microphone, and I don't think it's up against anything.
Well, it could be your modem just got all cluttered.
Sometimes if you take errors, your modems will hold on to those errors and keep a file of it. And unless you reboot it, it's like it gets a hiccup, and you got to unplug it to clear the hiccup.
You got to remember, some of the worst equipment that you have in your house is supplied to you by the cable company.
I own my own stuff.
Well, what do you own, though?
I own the top-of-the-line DOCSIS modem, and 1 gig modem, and
it may be a good
Nighthawk.
Wait a minute, 1 gig modem. What do you need? Do you have 1 gig service?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, you do have 1 gig service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I would probably have to plug into it. directly to
Well,
be
no,
able to take
no,
advantage
Phil.
of that.
If they're saying that you're supposed to get a gig up and a gig down, and you're not getting it, I
No,
would complain
I
to
don't think they give you a gig down.
The modem's Wi-Fi is capable of a gig.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And supposedly Wave, it's not fiber optic like yours. It's copper.
You know, it's
So,
funny when they put in the
limited.
fiber optic in my apartment. I said, yeah, I hear they have the fiber optic, but you know, it probably just goes right up to the building, and then from there on in, it's cable, right? Because when they installed it, you know where my fiber terminates?
The back of your
Right,
modem.
right in
By your
back of
feet.
right in the back of this monitor. And then the rest of it in the house is cable, you know, is coax, but the fiber terminates right here, you know.
Yeah.
Anything that's coming out of there is like full speed. You know.
Well, when I get another house, no matter where it is, I'm going to have it done right. This is an apartment. I rent it. I can't touch things. I can't chop holes in the wall. And
Oh, you can
Sure
chop
you
holes.
can. You just don't get your security deposit back.
No,
I don't want to get sued.
I always put holes in the walls so I could run wires and so on. But then,
Yeah, but
then-
you're also a
no,
squatter.
No, but
Right.
no, but then when you leave, this was-
2016.
This was in other apartments. Then when you leave, you just simply go get some plaster stuff and just putty it up. No big deal.
Yeah.
You know. But I forgot what my question was. I had a question for you about that. Oh, I was going to ask Mark. Mark, you were giving me some looks when I was talking about all this. What?
I just nightmares when I lived in on the 83rd Street, downtown from you, because I was one of the first residential ISDN lines in Manhattan, and it's just the nightmares. It took Verizon, well, 9X at that time, to get me up and running. It was a nightmare, let me tell you. And it got to the point where they were bringing people over to train installers. I think I was the first resident in Manhattan that had residential ISDN.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
was
you
just,
remember that? You were all aced up about that, and it was only like 80 up and down, right? It was
no,
not.
it was
No.
better. No, when it worked, both channels worked,
Yeah.
it was that's how I was able to find you would play, because there weren't very many people streaming video back then.
Yeah. Wow, you go all the way back with me to play?
Yes.
Wow.
And what was interesting about it was that, oh my God, it's someone I recognize. You know, it was like, holy shit, Alex Bennett. And I was just impressed that someone at that point, because back then I was very much into getting video, wanting to be able to produce content or take advantage of the internet as it is, and you kind of knew what was going to happen. This was. I could see forward that dial-up was going to go away, and this is what you were going to have.
Right.
You were going to have, but to get to that point, holy shit!
Well,
that
we
was
were doing live video every day, much like you're seeing here, only not this quality. We were sending out in two varieties. One was like 32 baud per second, kbps. And the other was 300 for anybody like you said you had, DSL. So that meant you were ISDN. So that meant you could get the full bigger picture. But we were the first ones, I think. I don't know. There weren't very many people doing live video in those days.
Well, we were doing stuff. That's for another discussion. But it was also so that way I could transfer files from where I was to National Video on 42nd Street, because they had a way of transferring,
Yeah.
floating files without having me to lug SideQuest drives, in a cab downtown.
Are you listening to this, Jason? This is back in the halcyon days, back in the prehistoric times of the internet.
When I first started, I argued and fought to get trained on ISDN, and they refused to train me because they're saying it was obsolete. But then for years, I still kept on getting tickets. And it's like, I don't know how to do ISDN because you guys want to train me how to do ISDN.
Yeah.
And it's still being used in parts of the country. In fact, a coworker of mine, where he lives down here, that's all they can get out to where he lives is still ISDN, which surprised me to no end.
Wow.
But I'll tell you, there was some coolness to it, besides things like play. Paul McCartney did an early streaming of a concert live from the cavern before the cavern was torn down.
Oh.
And it was streamed all over the world at that point. So it was like having this incredible free concert, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world, being able to see this, and I think eventually the audio from that and the video was released at some point.
Yeah.
But there were cool things like that would pop up on the horizon at the point. So it was, but now I'm listening to these your discussions about this, and it's like, yeah, go to any Best Buy and look at the Wi-Fi in the modem section, and it gets a little overpowering. It's like, where do where the frick do you start? In this day and age.
Well, what we're doing here, just this thing that I'm putting on the screen worldwide, just here, very simply. Years ago, we had to do this with thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
Yep.
Excuse me, folks, I'm belching. As you know, we had a thing called the Trinity, which was a huge box that did all this. I can do everything the Trinity did, pretty much, using this free program called OBS today, because the computers are powerful enough to be able to do it all. Before, you used to have a big machine with cards in it and so on that did all the heavy lifting. But now you've got a computer that, just pants a little heavily a bit, and you get it out there. I'm doing this, and I'm only using up like CPU of 12%. And think of what I'm putting up on the screen. Anyway. Yes.
I was looking. I have a Nighthawk X6S tri-band Wi-Fi router. What's the third band for? I know what the
what bands does it have? Because it should be a 2.4 and 5.
Well, it has
there's
the,
a 2.4
it has the Beatles.
and a 5,
it has the Rolling Stones.
And there's another and then there's a 5.2. So is there two bands for the 5?
If
So you
there's a
can have
5.2,
more-
then that must be a new thing.
Yes. Is that for more people that might
They
want to
said
use
there's
it?
a guy named
No.
Phil. There's a guy named Phil Myers, a sucker for anything.
Right.
And we'll
No, this
just
was Costco. I went to Costco.
we'll just put a
Awesome.
higher number on it.
So
And I-
the 5 would probably be even stronger, except for it has less penetration than even the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know about less penetration, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe
With your prostate, I thought you'd know about more penetration.
when they rip it out, they probably hurt some of the nerves. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you dull down there?
Nothing.
I take
know,
a
it's
shit,
good
and
for-
I'm like, oh wow.
That's one of my favorite things to do, and it's pretty much just good for peeing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that part of my life is over at the moment.
Oh, rats.
Well,
Do you still get up at night to pee a lot, Phil, or no?
Nah, I don't have to.
he just
I do
he
because
just
I want to.
wets the bed now.
So honestly, like, have you had a boner yet?
No.
Wow. But now, do you still have the urge? Is it frustrating or?
There's this blonde that walks this dog in the park, and yeah, I've had the urge, but
Nothing's happening.
nothing.
Do you say to her, "If I could get a boner, I'd get one over you"? Do you tell her that?
No, I've left her
I
alone.
wonder
She
if
doesn't
that- I
need to
wonder
know
if that would
somebody
be
that's
sexual-
45 years too old for her.
Yeah. You looked, Mark, like you had something you wanted to say.
No, I was going to think, go, I guess, in Israel, Mount Sinai, where they're doing all the stem cell research, Phil. Go there.
Really?
You never know.
Yeah.
Grow
I
a
heard
new
about-
prostate.
Huh? Yeah, I know. I heard about all the stem cell research on pain and joint pain and things like that, but I didn't know that they were.
Well, I mean, I chances are I probably have prostate cancer. Okay, and at my age, it's usually non-aggressive. All right, but I have a doctor who's watching and waiting. He's not jumping into stuff. That's why I changed doctors. The other one wanted to, immediately go to biopsy and this opsy and do that thing, and then I'll put you on the hormone deprivation, which is chemical castration. And I went, I got to find another doctor. So I found one who's a little more. He has more of a wait and see attitude. He says there's no rush with prostate cancer at your age.
He doesn't need the money yet.
No. Well, you know what he said to me, though? He said, I know why your doctor wanted to do a biopsy. And he wasn't throwing the old doctor to the wolves, because I said some fairly nasty things about him. He went, well, that's just his way of doing business. But then when it got down to the biopsy, he said, well, let's face it, there was $400 in it for him. So. Or 4,000, excuse me, 4,000.
Oh.
Yes,
Jason.
So I just wondered, do you ever, like, in the back of your mind also think that maybe chances are I just started riding a stationary bike recently, and I am 79 years old, so stationary bikes are really bad for your prostate, and it started squeezing out the juices to make me be normal, and really there's nothing wrong at all?
He's got BPH, and he's got it pretty bad, and that's usually.
But all that shit's from riding a bike too.
well,
Is that
I'm
what they say
thinking-
that?
I was doing a stationary bike like crazy, and I think that may have contributed to my higher PSA.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I think really is, and your high PSA is actually normal for your age, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
So that could just be, you were actually really lucky before because you weren't on
Yeah.
your ass all the time, but putting that pressure on your prostate from the bike, just said, hey, you're normal now, so it made it actually shoot up high.
yeah.
I just don't think you have much to worry
6
about.
years.
What,
My PSA was 1.1 last month.
Mine's 0.
well,
Would you have the old granny bicycle seat? Because that's what I have.
yeah,
on
well,
my
mine
bike,
was
too.
about what yours is when I was your age, Charlie. I think I was in the 1, 2, 1, 3. Boy, my page here for YouTube is like constantly refreshing itself automatically.
Mm.
Very strange. Huh. Wow. I don't know what that's about. Anyway. If it isn't one thing, it's another. There it goes again.
You're being hacked.
Is anybody else watching on YouTube at all?
I can see it. I haven't seen it refresh or anything.
Yeah, it just seems to flash around. I don't know. Anyway, be that as it may. So let me see here. I was just thinking about when we mentioned last night that San Francisco has decided to make the NRA a terrorist organization, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
No, Phil's leaving.
yeah, Phil's leaving.
Yeah, you really pissed him off.
Oh, no, no.
wait,
Oh,
wait,
he's getting his hat.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. He's got his. It's a very passé organization. You do realize that, don't you, Phil?
Yeah,
They're ru-
they got my money.
They're running out of money. Well, they used your money to go buy what's his name, LaPierre, some suits.
Yeah.
Wayne LaPierre.
It's important that he look good.
Listen, a guy with a name like Wayne LaPierre needs to carry a gun. But anyway, so that kind of made me happy, There isn't much that's making me happy anymore. Girlfriend, because of tennis, has not been watching the news much, and really says her life is appreciably better for it.
I saw something that she was either Instagram or one of those things that she was muted for making posts against Trump.
Yeah.
Who?
Yep.
Marjorie.
She didn't tell me that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was on Facebook today.
Oh, is that where it was?
What? Wait a minute.
No, she posted about it on Facebook, but it wasn't on Facebook that she was banned. Or
Oh,
whatever.
No, I don't think.
Wait.
I don't think she was banned. Why would she?
yeah. Well, that's what she said.
She
Huh?
said that she had been sending emails to Trump,
Y-
and the Trump system
Yeah.
threw her out.
Okay. It just-
Twitter, I think it was.
Alex, they'll
Yeah.
be knocking on your door any moment.
I think that's like an extra something better. And she should get a benefit from that.
She should.
Yeah.
But the reason why, I mean,
Well-
she didn't tell me about that, but the reason is he does stop people from writing him who don't agree with him.
Yeah.
So do I.
Well, I mean, if people disagree with me, I don't ban them from writing me if they're respectful. If they're disrespectful.
If they're respectful. Yeah.
Plus, he doesn't know who Marjorie is. He didn't do it himself. There's probably somebody in his office who goes, "Oh well, she's always writing, complaining about him. We only want nice stuff."
I think that was the Secret Service.
No.
Or-
No, I'm sure she
No,
didn't
look
make.
already.
I'm sure she didn't make any.
Coming.
I'm sure she didn't make any physical threats.
No, I think she called him Moscow's bitch or something like that.
Really? We've temporarily
Isn't
limited.
that
wait a
the
minute.
guy from the Senate? Turtle? What's his name?
That's
McConnell?
Moscow Mitch.
Oh, here,
No.
here it is. We've temporarily. In fact, let me do this because then the audience. Wait a minute. I have to be able to. I have to change the window capture here to Chrome. Where is it? It's Chrome. Where is it? I can't find Chrome.
It's the little circle.
Google Chrome. Here we go. There we go. All right. Okay. There she is. It says, we've temporarily limited some of your account features. What happened? We determined that this account, hold on a second, violated the Twitter rules, specifically for violating rules against hateful conduct. Hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, or disability. Yeah, but Trump does that all the time.
I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Does Marjorie want my terrorist hat?
Yeah. Oh, here's what she wrote. The real Donald Trump. Moscow's bitch, Moscow's bitch, Moscow's bitch. I don't see where that is a wrong comment.
Yeah.
She had bitch in there 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, if she had done it twice, would that have been okay? I mean, I don't like Twitter anyway.
So is it making news yet around the country that Michigan was the first to ban flavored vape?
Oh.
No, not to my knowledge. I know vape. There's now saying all sorts.
Yeah, the
of
FDA is
diseases.
saying don't do it because like 4 people have died. But you'd think
that-
the FDA would say put down your guns because like 4 people die every like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
well,
Well, my question is it the vaping that is hurting people, or is it the stuff they are vaping that's causing
Well, they
the
don't know.
problems?
They're investigating it still, so that's why they're basically saying because it's tobacco and THC that's doing the same thing.
Because why are people suddenly dying? And there have only been like 4 of them, all right? And there have been like 30, injuries or medical problems.
They
Because
identified 450 diseases. I think I read.
No, but here's what I'm saying. I don't think that it's that.
He has 450 people who had lung disease.
Considering how many people use vapes, I think the amount is rather small.
Yeah, I heard something about that. There's like some in the THC at least. There's vitamin E that people are inhaling, and that's bad for their lungs. Where it's good if topical applyment to your skin. Yeah, and then there's some other stuff about. Not even, it's just that it's oil, and when you're inhaling it, the oil congeals into oil in your lungs, basically giving you pneumonia.
Well, I take a hit off a vape about two times a day before I go to sleep for pot, and I
Smoke
find
real stuff.
Well, no, I'll tell you why I don't smoke the real stuff for that. This is just very convenient. I mean, I do it and I go to bed. It's boom, boom. I don't have to light up the joint. I don't have to roll a joint. I don't have to do anything like that. So
get a bowl.
This is for sleeping on. This is not for getting high on. And
no, I understand because I know your feeling because I have somebody in my household who has anxiety and they use it for anxiety. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's somebody else in my household who's realized that it's actually really good for sleeping. Mm-hmm. But you can pack a bowl full and just take a hit off. Yeah,
but I mean, if it's going to have the same effect, it's just really fast. It's there. I do it. I just, you know what I'm saying? It's not.
Doesn't anybody
a bowl?
Doesn't anybody use a bong anymore?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would much rather smoke a joint if I am leisurely trying to smoke pot with a friend or something like that. This is simply there because it's easy when I go to sleep at night.
There's a sharing thing with the joint. I remember, years ago, as you pass it, it was, it was kind of like passing the peace pipe,
Wasn't you, Alex, one of your other shows, you're saying there's even a word for it. It's not even an English word. It's ear.
Ear. Yeah. Yeah. No, but I find that it's as a delivery device, it's fine, for a quick toke. Okay, you don't want to go through the whole process of lighting it up and, this stuff is. But I feel feels a lot harsher than pot. Usually.
Yeah, it's the chemicals, or not chemicals. It's just that the delivery system, I think, is different, and where you're used to the smoke and your lungs might be capable of it. You already have it packed. You just have to go.
Well, there it is. There it is. If I want it.
I had an experience using a rebreather, and that's a closed circuit scuba type of unit. And what happened was the first time I had it on, I was in a pool being shown how to use it. And it didn't feel like I was getting any air. And I sucked on it so hard, I think I hurt myself, my chest.
Well, I find that this stuff is a little harsh. I can see where if somebody were doing it to smoke all the time, maybe it could start causing some problems. And a lot of people are doing it because they look at it as an alternative to smoking, to cigarettes.
It don't stink. They can get they don't, their parents won't find out, and that's a big thing. I had a guy at my work today. He called, it's Gretchen Whitmer, I think is our new governor, and she signed some executive order basically banning flavored vapes. And, this guy in my work comes in, oh, this commie bitch, she did this, she got rid of the flavored vapes, and next she's coming after your guns. And I was trying to come up with something quick.
No, she's not, but she's coming after your flavored guns.
Yeah. Well, I told him, I said, well, maybe a few white men would stop doing your mass shootings, and he got all pissed off. But what I really should have said, I shouldn't have done that and pissed him off. I should have said something about, yes, they got rid of the flavored vapes, so you're going to have to go back to tobacco flavor and get rid of your penis flavored vapes.
But, I don't know. I've never used a vape machine. But when I was on that rebreather, I didn't feel like I was getting any air, even though I was. There's no stream of air that.
Well, what
that
gets
goes
me
through.
is the volume of smoke, the vapor that comes out after I take a hit off this thing.
A lot of it's water vapor too, though, and it's designed to come out in big vape niche clouds. It's
like a '63 Chevy with an oil leak.
Well, it's not like tobacco smoke, which there's no. I don't think there's secondhand vaping with this stuff, is there?
There probably is to a degree, but you probably absorb most of it in your lungs. But something's coming out. Sure, the same chemicals you breathe in are coming out.
Well, I guess what bothers me about it is that we've never done any real studies to see what nicotine vaping does to you.
Hasn't been out long enough yet.
Yeah.
Those things have a battery in it, and I'm a little aware now of these batteries, blowing up. I know that it was happening in those little carts that kids would ride on. They were like skateboards, and they had some problems with the Chinese batteries. Now, my people that scuba dive were on that boat in off Santa Barbara, and they think that the batteries that were on charges ignited, and all of these vape things have a lithium-ion battery in it, and and some of them have blown up in people's faces, and they've gotten burns from it.
Yeah, but still, that doesn't change the fact that this boat also was very dangerous. It didn't have good exit.
It did. I was on that boat 3 times in the last 8 years for a total of 10 nights, and there was an exit.
You were there with
there.
15 people as opposed to almost 40.
34, yeah. Sleeping.
Yeah.
What is that? How do you feel, Phil? Because that has to just be.
Isn't
there
it's
something in the
numbing.
back of you that's just like, wow?
Yeah, it could have been me, just as easily. I mean, I last night I showed on the air what my AA battery and AAA battery charger looks like, and I would bring it on that boat, put it on the seat, and charge batteries all night. It could have easily have just been. It could have been me in that thing, whether it was 15 people or 34.
People. Yeah, it could have. Yeah, I'll tell you something really interesting. Every year we used to do Supper with Schwarzman in San Francisco, where we would do a live radio show with an orchestra from a famous place. And for several years we did it at the Fairmont Hotel, the Venetian Room, which is one of the most famous rooms in the country. This
Is that
one
the one with the little island in it?
Huh?
The one with the little island?
No, that's that was the Tonga room.
Oh.
Yeah, my father worked the Tonga room, and one of the things he had to do was he had to grab the rope and pull the raft back in so that all the musicians could get off the raft. And one night he was so fucking drunk he went in the drink in his tuxedo. But anyway, no, we did this thing at and so this one particular year that we were doing it, they wanted to do a solid for our advertisers, and they flew up. How many was it? I think about a dozen advertisers from L.A. to watch the show. Had they gone, the flight we put them on, we put them on early. We were going to put them on a later flight. That later flight got hijacked and plunged into the ground, and everybody on the plane was killed. So all the people in that audience from the advertising agencies were one step removed from having gotten killed.
What Jason said, there seems to be an outpouring in the scuba community. I know my friend also is named Jason.
Outpouring in the scuba community. I like that.
Of support, not only for the people that own the boat, but for the people that lost their lives. I personally didn't know any of those 34 people, but it still hits so close to home that it does feel funny, and it does not sit well with me.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
But
it's not
didn't you say the other day too, though, that you said this other guy Jason, like when you would go on there was only like 15 people, and this one had like 39 people or something.
34,
That's
34 divers, plus
crazy.
5 crew. Yeah, well, we would pay more so that we had more room, and we were all photographers, and I don't know if you've ever seen underwater
they were
gear.
the rich elite. And
Yes,
the
yeah,
poor
and that's why
steerage.
we lived and they didn't. But we have big boxes of gear, and not only our dive gear, it's the photography gear and computers and all sorts of stuff. So, we needed the room. There was.
See, I just set it off.
on
You're
the
gonna have PTSD now. You're gonna start having flashbacks. Be like, oh man, that could have been me.
I don't know if you've ever seen a Gates housing housing a red dragon or a red epic, but they're big. And then you got the lights and the strobes and all the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so
That's how he's gonna beat up on the next old people at the photo thing.
The
He's
Rossmore
gonna be like,
photo thing.
This was a picture taken off of this boat before it burned up and killed all those people.
The last dive, the last time I went out, I was having issues, and I didn't know it was my heart blockage. So what had happened was I got in my dry suit, and by the time I had gotten all my gear on, I was exhausted, and I was hot because dry suit it bundles you up. So I jump in the water, and I didn't feel right, and I went back to the swim platform, got out of the boat, and said, I'm not feeling that good. And then one time I forced myself to go down the swim, the anchor line, and I tried to kick off the anchor line. I didn't have any energy. I just couldn't kick out there. I thought it was maybe a lot of current, but it wasn't. Everybody else was all over the place, and I'm hanging on to the bottom of the anchor line. Well, little did I know, my arteries were clogged, and I didn't have enough energy to do it. But luckily, I didn't push myself to where I had a heart attack. I just went back up and sat out the rest of the dives for the remaining days. So I didn't get a lot of pictures on that dive.
Wow.
It was like, just, but I didn't realize that that's what was going on. It took a few more months before I got an EKG.
Wow. Well, anyway, so but you didn't die, and you're 3 years removed from having
He almost
died.
died on the same boat.
That sounds
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, well,
You still want to go in the water after all that?
yeah, I feel good now.
Dangerous?
He just went swimming with the sharks not too long ago.
Jason, how old are you now, Jason?
I'm sorry?
How old are you now?
39.
39. You like listening to all these old farts talk about their medical problems?
Yeah, man, I love it.
He's the same age as Jack Benny.
I look at it, I've always been my whole life. Listen to your elders.
Oh,
Learn from them.
Believe me, now that I'm an elder and I hear what I talk about with other elders, I'm going, there's nothing to be learned.
And I was going.
Well, see, I just learned from you. Don't be Jewish.
When I was going to college in Miami, I'd go to the pool and I'd hear these conversations of these altacacas, we called them.
Yeah.
And this one's talking about this operation. That one's talking about, I got such and such as a doctor. He's the best. And, my scar is bigger than your scar. And, I used to think that, hey, what are these people talking about?
Jeff will,
now,
Jeff
here
will,
I am talking about
Jeff
it.
will agree with me on this. I mean, as you get older, when you go and you have lunch or dinner with friends of your similar age, what is the
2
topic?
or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Oh, shut up.
I'm saying that's the time I go.
It's the early bird special.
As a matter of fact, Marjorie did eat at 3:30 this afternoon.
That's the time I eat dinner on the weekends.
But the topic always turns to, so what's wrong with you this week? Because as time goes on, you start getting a lot of shit. It just piles up.
But you know,
Ronnie referred to it as medical whack-a-mole. You know, that you just as soon as you cure something else pops up. You know, you got to whack it down. Yeah.
But that's the thing. We should be doing that at a younger age. There's stuff going on with me later where I feel like, oh, you know, I just had lunch and now I have to shit. And then I find out from a doctor, oh, that's normal. You know, it's like, you know, oh, I thought there's something wrong with me. Well, if people talked about their actual medical issues or things that happen in their life, maybe you realize and understand stuff is normal or stuff is wrong.
Right. Well, you know, you know, it's just as you get older, these things start becoming
I can give you
a deal.
one bit of advice.
What?
Pot kills brain cells.
Yeah.
What, George? What, George?
Yeah.
Pet the bunny.
Well, at this age, I'd like to ruin some brain cells. Look who we've got for president. You know?
He's not smoking pot.
He should start. You know.
Alcohol kills brain cells.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink either.
He does do some prescription drugs, though.
Oh, he does something.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think he does?
I think he's getting high off the smell of a Sharpie.
I think that there's some drugs that they do prescribe presidents to kind of keep them awake or help them go to sleep, and I think he's taking advantage of them.
Marjorie, speaking of
Exactly.
sending out tweets, sent out a retweet on a photo that somebody did that it said proof that Donald Trump did not know Epstein. And there's a picture of Donald Trump with Epstein, but a Sharpie has X'd out Epstein's face.
Very good.
Yeah. That was actually the biggest non-story of the week. I mean, it was showing what a lying fuck he is, but it was still a non-story. Yeah.
I saw a headline on Drudge that said something about NOAA, NOAA. And I didn't read the story, but it said something about NOAA supporting Trump's assertion that Alabama was going to get hit.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Drudge.
Oh, of course, drug.
Yeah. It's the only one. Oh, yeah. NOAA backs president rebukes weather service. NOAA backs on Alabama forecast rebukes weather service office that accurately contradicted him.
Wow.
He claimed the weather service had projected it to go to Alabama. So I don't give a fuck what NOAA said. The weather service never said that.
So, anybody here actually been through a hurricane?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I know
That's
you.
right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like one time I was in Mexico on vacation. There was actually a Category 2, I think it's Ernesto, came over us, and it was amazing. It just sounded like there was a jet airplane over top of me
Or
all
Ernesto?
night long.
Or Ernesto couldn't get over the wall.
No, it was in Mexico, and so was I. I was on the fun side of the wall. But yeah, it was like over top of us all night long. Didn't do too much damage, but it sounded like a jet airplane was just over top of you all night long. It was crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else has been happening in the news, but most of the news has been dominated by the hurricane. You know, which I can get a little too much of that too.
Although what's happening in the Bahamas, especially on that, I don't know how to pronounce it, something A island. There's bodies underneath.
Oh no, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Terrible.
It's terrible. But now it gets up to Florida, and it's off the coast of Florida as a Category 1, and they're still making as big a deal about that as when it was hitting the Bahamas.
But it hit North Carolina and South Carolina, and I think it turned into a higher number.
It rose back up to 3.
They really rolled it back up to a 3?
The Bahamas thing.
Yeah.
When it came off of Florida, it went back out in the ocean and got stronger.
See, the Bahamas thing, the last hurricane that hit Florida, I think, was like 165 miles an hour. This one's 185 miles an hour, and it stayed there for 36 hours. It just didn't move.
Yeah.
And it really tore the place up. And people can't get in, can't get out, everything is strewn all over the place. There's bodies, you can see arms, according to the news, underneath brick.
Well, that one island, not a building was left standing.
Yeah, Abola, or I don't remember the name of the island, but that was The other thing is, I was just in Freeport, when I went in March, in the Bahamas. I was right there, and that's where I got on the boat, and we spent 8 days out at Tiger Beach.
We just lost Jason.
Oh,
He's frozen. I imagine he'll call back, but I mean, so anyway, what's new, Tony?
Yes.
No, nothing. My sister went back to teaching, and you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, sure.
She's teaching first grade, but they're advanced kids, like highly functional. So some of them have reading levels like almost second, third grade. They're only in first grade. Mm-hmm. So she came over tonight, to talk to us how her day went. So they have like creative time where they take out stuff that they like. So one of the kids, I'm going to say it, he's like, I think he's Muslim. So he's obsessed, I was telling Phil, with Play-Doh. He loves to build things. So he put a book, my sister goes around like, what are they making? So he says, well, what did you make? He made like a little ball. He says, she thought it's a nice ball. He says, that's not a ball, that's a bomb.
Oh,
shit. I swear to God, he said that. I was laughing in the living room. My mother says, no way. Yeah. He said, that's a little bomb. I said, holy shit. He's smart, Alex. He can read like almost second, third grade reading level already. So I don't think
that's better than you.
I know. I was like, Alex, some of them are really like, they're very high functional. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Because she says, she got to go around and I'm right now putting stuff away. I was like, I thought Phil would get it.
Yeah. So Jason, what happened to you?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, he just disappeared. He didn't hang up.
No.
She's got kids in next class, so it's pretty good because they're special kids.
Anyway,
I think he said something bad about Trump. Was it?
What?
He's in jail with Marjorie.
Oh,
Trump jail.
Well,
Phil, Trump's been behaving himself lately.
Well, that's because he can't get a word in edgewise with the hurricane.
Wait a minute. Mark had a question mark for a face there.
What? I mean, this guy's just been like one disaster after another. Quiet? Like,
what do you mean?
He doesn't too crazy.
He's just one day removed from Sharpie Gate now.
Well, it says here that NOAA is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, and they said, in fact, Alabama was threatened by the storm at the time Trump tweeted Alabama would most likely be hit, and so that was the information he was providing, and I don't think that the people at NOAA are going to cover for him if it wasn't true.
What did he threaten them with? He's fired every other scientist's work for him.
He'll send them to Mars on the.
Whatever happened with Greenland? Did he dropped that whole thing, right? Or no?
No, there'll be a deal.
He's crazy. He thinks he's going to buy everything. He's crazy.
He's just waiting for the snow melt.
Well, he talks about being, this big wheeler dealer, and I got news for you. He isn't proving he's very good at it. He goes and people are saying, yes, the Chinese are going to sit down and talk, but the bets are nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, because he can't see. He can't, close a deal. Look at North Korea. Boy, he made a deal there, and what's become of it? Guys shooting missiles like they're running.
It's the 4th of July.
Yeah, like it's the 4th of July in North Korea.
He went to North Korea and you didn't.
But I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Well, he went to North Korea by stepping over.
Yeah. Did they stamp his passport?
No, but he didn't really go to North Korea. You know, it's not like he went to Pyongyang or whatever and watched a parade and things like that. You know.
I was in Seoul, and but I think that they said that the DMZ is like 15 miles from Seoul.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I was there for a day.
The DMZ is held since when? Late 1950s.
50, yeah, 52, 50.
But basically, I mean, he just doesn't seem to be able to make a deal.
He's just not going to take any deal. I mean, they said that they were going to give him a deal, but the deal had no teeth. So he said, "I'm not taking that deal." And then when they were in Vietnam with Kim Jong-un, he walked out on that deal. So it worked for Reagan. Reagan was talking to Gorbachev, and he walked out on a deal at Reykjavik, I think. So, I mean, sometimes it
no, but
he standing up.
Tell me a deal he's made.
Well, if it goes through, you've
no,
got
don't give me
Canadian, Mexican.
Don't say if it goes through.
Yeah.
Well, it has to go through Congress. It's already been approved by the Canadians and the Mexicans. Our Congress needs to approve.
It's a rejiggering of NAFTA is what it is.
It's a better deal for us.
It's probably a better deal for everybody. NAFTA has not been particularly a great deal.
No.
And I don't think anybody would disagree, but I don't think he had anything to do with that. I think Mexico had to have something to do with it, and so did Canada as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking.
You said something very smart. It had to be a better deal for everybody, and that's true. A deal isn't a good deal unless everybody
tell
wins.
me a deal he has actually done.
He's done a lot of things through
Phil,
what is it? Then they write that thing. Charlie, what's that thing they
Phil,
write?
I'm asking you to name something he's done.
Executive order?
Executive order.
Well, those
some of the things that he's done is he's cut taxes.
No, that doesn't count. He hasn't cut taxes. Who did he cut
the
taxes?
result of some of the things that he's done has put more people to work. Black unemployment's the lowest it's ever been. There's a lot of things that he's done. He's put a thing out there to try to renegotiate prices with the drug industry.
But you see, Phil, it's a question of, I asked you, what has he gotten done? You said, well he's trying to negotiate this and he's trying to negotiate that. But those things.
You have these obstructionists called Congress, and they don't want to give him a win. So a lot of the things that he's trying to do, you have this obstruction.
Let me ask Mark something.
No matter how good
Mark,
it is.
How did you do on taxes this year? Are you getting money back?
No, fuck no.
Okay. How about you, Charlie? You getting any money back? You seeing anything out of the tax break at all?
Who's?
I'm asking Charlie. Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I think I did. My taxes went down about $100.
Okay, don't spend it all in one place, by the way.
I tried not to.
Yeah. How about you, Jeff? Is seeing any money out of?
Yes, but a little amount.
Like, can you give me an estimate?
I don't know, but I remember a couple of $100 difference.
Yeah. How about you, Tony?
I got a little bit more. But then I quit that stinking job, though, Alex. I'm happy.
Yeah, but I don't think you got that because of the tax break. I think you just got it because...
I don't think so either. I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. The only people that benefited from that tax break are the business guys.
Yep.
And if you think they're going to be giving money back to the public because they're getting a tax break, you're sadly mistaken, because every time we've tried to do that, it never turned out to be that way. So,
waiting for you to answer, Phil.
He didn't ask me.
I know.
Oh,
You should-
have you saved a lot of money, made a lot of money off of his tax breaks?
Well, I just filed, and I haven't opened my thing yet because I have to put in some sort of code, and I have to do it at work because that's where I have the numbers that allow me to open it. I do know that it cost me about an extra $1,200 this year for the tax preparer to prepare the taxes. So I paid like $3,400 to have my taxes prepared. So that I know cost more, but I don't know yet what.
All right, so
what the deal is.
where's this tax break for the American public? We're talking about this.
Well,
Just
it must have had some resonance in
Amazon
reality,
Right.
because people have more money. They're getting more money on every
But we
check.
just asked the
You see,
people-
you may not have gotten money back, Alex, but each check, less money was taken out, so you had more money to use over the year.
Yeah, but these people are saying that's not true for them.
Well, no. These people are saying that they got less back, or they didn't get as much back as they, or not. They got a
Phil,
little more back.
all I'm saying
in their
is-
tax return
is the
But
is
if
the
you
tax
don't get
break
the money.
The tax break was for Trump and his pals.
No,
Yeah.
if they take less out in your check every week, month, or
But
twice
it
a month.
hasn't amounted to that much, Phil. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they said it's like an average of $1,500, and so
$1,500 that's a year, right?
No, a year, but that's
A year,
maybe
okay,
it's
so
$100 a
$1,500
month more.
It's $100 a month more. Oh, that's really a lot of money, Phil.
Well, it is to some people.
Well, it's not compared to the tax break that we're giving businesses.
No.
Well, but the businesses needed the break.
Oh,
because
I see. They
had
needed it
onerous-
because they're so
Amazon
because they're
was
so
so-
because they're so
Yeah.
poor, right, Phil?
Well,
They're
No,
so
just they're
struggling.
nice guys. You know?
$11 billion in profit, zero taxes.
Yeah, what
Who
was
is that?
Amazon.
Amazon.
And the guy from Amazon, Bezos, I don't think he likes Trump, does he?
He doesn't hate him.
Oh no, he hates him.
Well, no, he doesn't exactly hate him. Jeff, he is, a Republican.
Well, there's a lot of Republicans that don't like Trump.
Well, then there's smart ones. Yes, Jeff.
I just checked with my financial people here, and we paid more taxes this year.
Yes. Can I say why?
Had to pay more.
Your financial advisor went to cash in a lot of positions, which meant
Absolutely.
which meant you took a lot more profit and you didn't let it roll, and so therefore you had more tax to pay because you went to cash, which created a profit. And so you're only giving us half the story. You know.
I have to agree with you. So,
Okay. So
I don't know, but she did sell some of the investments that we had
yeah, and smartly
because they were going down, or
they were they went down,
Yeah.
and then you could always get back into the position. That's also a dangerous thing to do, but she was smart. She did it and she played it right. But you made a lot of money, and because you made a lot of money, you paid more taxes. So it's not a bad thing.
What happened to Jason?
Jason,
never
I
came
don't know. I'll write him.
Well, I did away with his square. Oh well. Who knows? He could be his internet went down or whatever. But doesn't he work for the people who supply him with the cable?
He better
Think
get
so.
on it. He lost his connection.
So anyway, let me see here. What else? Not a lot else to talk about. I mean, it's just, these people. Oh, here comes Jason. He's back again. Here we go. Okay,
I just wrote him.
let me see here. Oh, you just wrote him. Okay, what happened to you, Jason?
I have no freaking idea. I
Yeah.
couldn't get through for such a long time, and no idea.
Really?
I had problems too tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be. Look, it could be Skype's got problems. things, you know. And some nights I've had a few problems with YouTube, and it turns, you know, especially when like I have to upload shows to YouTube. And the other night I was having a hell of a time, and then all of a sudden it cleared up because these companies sometimes have blackouts in certain areas or rolling problems and so on. And you got to realize, I mean, Skype, I would imagine, has a lot of people on its system. So I'm surprised it doesn't go down more often, actually. How are you guys liking the new Skype?
I mean, I don't have any problems
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Just every once in a while, it kicks me off.
Well,
I liked how it was better where you could have everybody on the screen before instead of squares and circles.
Well, I liked it that way better. I liked the way it looked.
Too.
I think the circles, you know, only allowing 4 people. This is, folks, when I'm talking to you about this, I'm not saying what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is a picture that I do in which I take each individual call and I put them in a square, okay? But if you're using Skype and you have more than 4 people, you only have 4 people on the screen at a time, then you get all these little bubbles. And by the way, they can take something like up to 64 people or something at one time. And I'm wondering, what is it, bubbles all over the screen? I mean, it's not, to me, it's clumsy. It's very clumsy.
Circle gets a square.
Well, you
When
should
get
be
that many.
You should be able to say, look, I would like upwards to 10 people on the screen at the same time, and be able to do that, or drag the bubbles down, and you don't have to give up somebody, you know, to just add them.
Just turn down the video quality or something if you need to be able to have more squares.
I will say the video quality is better than it was in the old days. There's no question about that.
If the 64 people, are they all showing a picture or is it just audio?
They're showing a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Google Hangouts are one of those kinds of things.
They did away with Google Hangouts.
Oh, well, yeah, he experimented with it, and he had 25 people on there, but I think some of them, you only had audio.
No, you had video.
You had video?
Towards the end, it was video.
Oh.
I looked into it as an alternative to this, and I can't remember what the problem. There was a major problem that meant
I think it was you could talk to them, but they really could just listen to you. Is that how it worked?
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. There was something in the presentation that I couldn't do, and it just made it very clumsy. They did not come up with a good idea for that. And I would imagine, you know, Skype to begin with was invented by a bunch of guys who wanted to put the phone company out of business. They were the same people that started another thing like that beforehand, you know.
The phone company will put themselves out of business.
The phone company's out of business.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, except for using your cellular phone. They're in the cellular business now.
Barely. I mean, there's barely any charges on a cellular phone. You pay a monthly fee and you eat all you want. I remember as a kid.
I'm paying AT&T. I'm paying AT&T.
$100-something bucks.
$100-something odd bucks. Yeah, but I'm paying for my phone too.
From one thing that I have heard lately, not saying that I work for a telecommunications company at all or not, that the landlines and the internet lines actually coming from the telephone company are the ones that are making the money, that the actual cellular lines are not.
Oh, you remember, Alex, several years in the 60s when you made a phone call and if it was long distance, you were in a hurry to get off and,
yeah,
you know.
It cost a fortune.
Yeah, it used to cost a fortune. You know, if from Peekskill, if I called New York, it was expensive.
Yeah.
And I remember my father yelling at me, "What's this call to Long Island?" And so, you know,
that was your long distance and local toll.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how Skype makes money. I guess they do.
They make money. I know I have $20 credit.
Well, I have credit
be
too.
Able to call a landline.
Yeah, but I have that credit too. Like for instance, when I talk to certain people, like when I do Pearl and I do Bubbles,
yeah,
they're landlines. But you know, come on, it takes me a year to use up that money.
The only time I've used any of that money was when you were on Walter Sabo's show, and I had to call in on Skype. And I used about 80 cents, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the point is that the phone company, for instance, I mean, obviously they do make money off cell service. They got to make money off cell service. But you say they're not, Jason?
Not as much as they are on still their regular copper wired lines. Because you got to figure on their copper, you know, you have your phone and you also have your internet.
Well,
I switched over at the store to voice over IP phones. Now
going
they're
over
not
the
as
internet,
good.
but
They're not as good as the lines. It gives me services that I didn't have before. Like I can receive calls on my cell phone.
Skype is VoIP, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I just think that it's well, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm getting punchy.
Skype is
it's
an
getting
OTP
late.
service, over the top service, what they call it in my industry.
Yeah.
It's just something that another service you can use over the internet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you say copper, then you've got somebody like Verizon who has fiber. When you're talking copper, are you also talking fiber as well?
I don't know, probably because we have probably just as much fiber, if not more, than they have.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I mean, a lot of the cable companies now are going to fiber.
No, not really.
Is it granola or just Special K?
Yeah, well, I do know
they're not putting in as much fiber as they should be. Everybody should be stop doing copper and just putting in fiber, but they're not doing it.
I'll tell you, I got to say this, and it's really true. The TV quality that I get is pretty incredible.
Mhm.
Where this is concerned, where it's concerned, I found that I thought, oh well, TV will be the same. Come on, TV pictures, TV picture. It was clearer with FiOS. Do you have Mark? Do you have FiOS there? No.
Well, a friend of mine who used to work for Verizon FiOS in New York, he retired recently.
Mm-hmm.
He basically told me that just about everyone is using fiber one way or the other. Either it goes out to your door or to your community.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more fiber out there than you think.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm on Comcast, which is also known as Xfinity, and I know for a fact that there's fiber out there.
Yeah.
That comes into my community, but that's where it stops. When it comes here, it goes through a conversion.
As I said earlier, I expected that when they put fiber in here, that it wasn't going to come into there was a box outside my apartment, and that from then it would be coax all the way through the house. But no, they actually ran the fiber right into this unit that's right behind my monitors here, and then it goes out through the coax that was originally laid by Spectrum years ago, throughout the house, so that we can pick up the picture. But I was amazed that I thought it would stop at least at the door, and it didn't. It kept coming.
Oh, that's the MDU project. Like I was on last year. That was in Cleveland, and lived in Cleveland for 3 months, putting in fiber into apartments.
Wow! Because if I don't know if you can see it, but there's some wires up there. Well, you can't see it. My camera isn't that high, but they're very thin. It's a very thin wire that comes in. It's actually
you should see what the fiber looks like underneath what you think is the wire.
Yeah.
Because it's the thickness of a human hair, basically.
Really? Yeah. I'm surprised that there's no problems with it. You would think that it would go wonky with people in homes and stuff, because they did not do a good job of wiring. I mean, it's a sloppy wiring job. I had to go kind of clean it up a little bit.
You didn't have Jason putting it in.
Right.
Correct.
Right. If I had Jason doing it. So anyway, But I hope all of you have fiber out there, and you're getting your fiber. And it's man, I'm tired tonight. I'm exhausted. Failing at trying to put in a graphics card, and then trying to get my computer working again.
You got the graphics card?
Yeah, and it does.
Did you get the foot roller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to hit your organic vape pen.
So this graphics card isn't working?
It's not working. It's not working. I got to figure out why. But then I tried to put in the old graphics card, and it wouldn't boot up the machine until I finally did it where I got the other card in right, and it booted up. So I think it's something with the way it's seating in the computer.
That green thing is not the graphics card.
Oh, this is the graphics card. It isn't? Oh, no wonder it wasn't working. Damn it.
That's the.
Thanks, by the way, Jeff. Jeff turned me on to this.
Yeah. That's how you read Braille with your feet.
Yeah, no, I've been doing my feet through the whole show. You know? Yeah.
Where's my ball? I
Yeah,
just had it yesterday. But
you see, the ball rolls away. This thing doesn't roll away. It forms right to your foot.
Speaking of balls, did you ever hear, Phil? Did you see my thing about the Sepratech, the underwear? How it keeps your balls separate?
No.
That's a good idea.
Yes, you sent me something about underwear, but I still like the Tommy Johns.
It's the same fabric, kind of. It's bamboo and rayon. It's a really nice fabric, but it's like it keeps your balls separate. So like every time I sit down, I always hold my balls up so I don't sit on my balls.
You always have to.
You got to keep them out of the water or the toilet too.
Right? With this underwear, it keeps your balls separate.
Well, no, at his age, he doesn't have to worry about them falling in the toilet. Okay. No. Anyway, that's for later. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, what a pleasant
Give it time.
What a pleasant night this has been with our pleasant bunch of people. It's always good to see you, Mark. Always good to see you, Jeff. Jason. That's what Fridays are for. Patrick. No, not Patrick. Tony. Jeez, I don't know why I forget names here. Charlie, thank you, and Phil, thank you. What I would like you to do is probably all give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave back at you, okay? There we go. There's our citizen panel. There's our citizen panel. Bye-bye, guys. Anyway, that's it for tonight. As they all go off into the sunset, I'm hanging up on them, and I'm going to invisible. Oh, I see. That was invisible. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay, too. Anyway, you know what's next over most of the same station is the intersection with Jack Bishop. I'll be back again, let's see here, tomorrow night. Same time, same station. No, not tomorrow night. I'm so punchy. Having done all that work on that graphics card just absolutely threw me for a loop. Let me try this again. We'll see you again on Tuesday after the exchange with Damian Chaplin at 10 o'clock. He's on at 9:30. 10 o'clock, we're here. Same time, same station in life. Now we'll do it. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her we love her. Okay? Bye.